Hey, good morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist James Long with Dynamic Weather Agency LLC, and today we're going to be talking about this upcoming major winter storm system that's going to bring heavy snowfall to the Midwest and Ohio Valley region before transitioning its way across the Mid-Atlantic and into the Northeast. You can see this morning on satellite imagery, as we were talking about in yesterday's video, that area of energy transitioning its way across the Rocky Mountain region before we start seeing this low pressure system begin to develop across the Central Plains as the system begins to move its way into the Midwest. As you can see this morning, you can see that counterclockwise spin in some of those clouds right there, and you can see that low pressure system beginning to develop as we were mentioning in yesterday's video. And the system is going to continue to mature throughout the day as it continues its way into the Midwest. We're expecting some very heavy snowfall. Now, as we take a look at our headlines in today's video, first we're going to start talking about our national forecast for at least the next 72 or so hours. Then we'll be taking a look at our National Weather Service current hazards along with our winter storm severity index. Then we'll begin to talk about the Midwest winter storm. We'll take a look at our models and our synoptic overview on why we're going to see some very heavy snowfall across this area. And then we'll take a look at our forecasted snowfall totals that we have on our forecast map. After that, we'll then begin to talk about the storm system that's going to move its way into the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast, becoming this nor'easter type storm system. We'll also take a look at our weather models and the forecasted snowfall totals across that region too. And last but not least, we'll also talk about our threats, if we have any threats for some severe weather. So stay tuned for today's video. First, before we get into today's video, I do want to encourage you guys to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Be sure to share this video with your friends and family so we can help make them weather aware before the weather happens. Also, be sure to check us out on social media where you can send us your weather-related photos and videos that we might share in our future and upcoming videos. There's a link to our social media pages down below in the description. Also, be sure to check us out online at dynamicweatheragency.com for more weather-related information and content that can be found on over there. Again, that link is going to be down below in the description. Last but not least, be sure to check out our Patreon page to help support this channel so I can continue to make weather-related content like this and storm chasing videos, along with funding some of our research that we have going on here at Dynamic Weather Agency LLC. We have many different packages and tiers for you guys to choose from, with many exclusive perks and content for our Patreon subscribers. Again, that link can be found down below in the description. Now, taking a look at our national forecast for the next 72 hours or so. West of the Rocky Mountain regions and the Cascades, Sierra Nevadas, and even the northern Rockies, including the Rockies in parts of Colorado, with some just moisture moving through that area along the mid and upper levels, we could expect to see some mountain snow conditions still occur in some of those higher elevations. Now, shifting our way east of the Rocky Mountains, taking a look at the southeast and even some of the Mississippi Valley and some of the Central Plains region, we do have some chances of rain with some of these passing low pressure systems that we can expect. But further to the north with those colder temperatures, we're expecting heavy snow across parts of northern Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, into Pennsylvania, and along the mid-Atlantic into the northeast and parts of Maine. You can see across on our map, we have these two areas of low pressure. One with that area of energy transitioning its way across the Rocky Mountains, developing that surface cyclone that we saw this morning on our satellite imagery. We're expecting to see that transition its way eastward and a little bit to the northeast across parts of the Central Plains into the Midwest and Ohio Valley region. That storm system will get stalled out across the, Appalachian mountain region, while those upper level features will continue to move on through, and we'll begin to see another surface low develop across parts of the east coast and develop into this nor'easter type storm system, bringing some heavy snowfall to the mid-Atlantic and the northeast. Now, taking a look at this major winter storm, taking a look at the National Weather Service current watches, warnings, and advisories in effect. Parts of the upper plains, Midwest, Ohio Valley, into the mid-Atlantic, you see that nice swath, some of these advisories, watches, and warnings currently in effect across that region. As you take a look across parts of the Midwest region, you can see those pink values. Those are those winter storm warnings affecting places like Cedar Rapids, Rockford, Milwaukee, Chicago, Kokomo, Muncie, Lafayette, Gary, Indiana, even into parts of western Ohio under these winter storm warnings currently in effect, and these areas were under those winter storm watches yesterday. Mason City, Madison, Wisconsin, Kalamazoo, Grand Rapids, Columbus, Toledo, Cincinnati, Indianapolis, Urbana, Peoria, all within those winter weather advisories as denoted by those purple colors. Even Pittsburgh, you're within those winter weather advisories. Now, as we take a look at the mid-Atlantic area, those indigo bluish colors, Altoona, Alexandria, Baltimore, Harrisburg, Philadelphia, Atlantic City, you're within those winter storm watches in those bluish indigo colors. Even New York, you're within that winter storm watch. Those pinks, Danville, Roanoke, you're within those winter storm warnings. And then as we take a look at those places in those purples, places like Raleigh, Greensboro, Asheville, Richmond, Salisbury, you're all within those winter weather advisories currently in effect. Now, taking a look at our winter storm severity index, what components are taking a look at within this index. First of all, this index is taking a look at snow amount, the amount of accumulating snowfall, and the rate in which snow is falling within this area. The snow load is taking a look at the weight of the snowfall. Blowing snow and the ground blizzards, taking a look at kind of the wind component within this winter storm system, along with some visibility effects along with this. And then flash freeze and ice is basically looking at the potential for surfaces to become ice covered, along with the amount of ice accumulation with this major winter storm. Now, taking a look at our day one winter storm severity index, taking a look at parts of the Midwest, Ohio Valley, Great Lakes region, you can see those minor and moderate impacts due to some of that heavy accumulating snowfall we're expecting across this region. As we move into tomorrow, that shifts a little bit further to the east. You can see parts of Indiana, Ohio now within those minor and moderate impacts, but we'll start seeing those impacts across parts of the mid-Atlantic with that new low pressure system developing, becoming that nor'easter type storm system. Now, taking a look at day 3, just taking a look at Monday, you can see those minor and moderate impacts now affecting parts of the East Coast, eastern Pennsylvania, southern New York, into parts of Delaware, and even to parts of Connecticut and Rhode Island. You can see some of those winter weather effects that we can see with this major winter storm system. Now, those minor impacts are roughly equating to those NWS advisory level criteria, causing minor disruptions to primarily those who are not prepared for this major winter storm system, with none to minimal recovery time needed. So it'll be easy for those road crews to keep up with some of the heavy snowfall within those areas. While those moderate impacts roughly equate to those NWS warning level criteria, you saw some of those winter storm warnings currently in effect in some of those moderate areas. This is going to be definite impacts to those with little preparation, perhaps a day or two recovery time for snow to subside, along with road crews to, continue to work on those roads with some of that heavy snowfall across some of these areas. Again, now taking a look at the major winter storm system for the Midwest and Ohio Valley. Now taking a look at our major winter storm, looking at the Midwest and the Ohio Valley region, taking a look at our synoptic overview. Now taking a look at our forecasted 300 millibar chart. This is for a little bit later on this evening today. You can see we have a couple fingers of the subtropical jet moving across parts of southern CONUS. Across parts of the northeast, we do have this finger of the Arctic jet moving on in. But our PFJ, we have this nice ridge across parts of the western United States and this broad trough across the area with this nice jet streak moving across the central United States. Taking a look at our 500 millibar chart, looking at vorticity, you can see we have this nice closed 500 millibar low. We have this short wave and PVA that's enhancing lift and descent across the area. And then we have this little wave-induced ridge, or this trough of warm air aloft, which is indicating the axis of possibly where the heaviest snowfall could occur. Now, taking a look at moisture, this isn't a model. This is an actual isentropic analysis. This is current analysis. You can see some of that low-level jet kicking on in. You can see some of that isentropic ascent and moisture advection across the region ahead of this developing surface low. As we take a look at our precipitable water forecast chart, again using the European model, you can see to the south across the lower Mississippi Valley into the western Tennessee Valley, you see those southerly winds that's bringing moisture advection high PWatt values of 1 to 2 inches across parts of that region, and that moisture is going to ride up and over that warm front due to isentropic ascent and that warm conveyor belt, causing this moisture to wrap around that deformation zone and come ahead. And you can see some of those high precipitable water amounts across that region approaching 1 to 1.1 inches, where we can see significant snowfall across that area. The snow to liquid ratio is usually 10 to 1, so about 1 inches of rain equates to about 10 inches of snow. So you can see some of those very high PWatt values across that region. Again, now taking a look at our 850 millibar chart, you can see that nice closed 850 millibar low. You can see that frontogenesis band along the warm front across Iowa, Illinois into Indiana that's enhancing ascent and lift across that region. And then you can see that low-level jet transporting some of that Gulf moisture due to that southerly component of those winds. So as we take a look at our weather models, with this system, right now we got this nice upper level ridge over part of the central United States. On the western United States, we do have this nice deep upper level trough in this area of energy moving through that trough. It's going to slowly progress its way to the east, moving its way across the Rocky Mountains, where we're going to see this low pressure system begin to develop. You can see that nice deep closed upper level low beginning to develop across the region, with this nice blocking high up to the north in Canada. That's going to allow the system to slow its northward progression, begin to jog its way to the south and east, where we're going to see that new low pressure system begin to develop along the east coast. This hazardous type low pressure system becoming this nor'easter type storm, as you see this low pressure system develop along the eastern coast right here as we move in to Tuesday morning. This is 1 a.m. Tuesday, on February 2nd. See a low pressure system begin to develop and right along that eastern coast, bringing some of that snowfall to the northeast. Behind this system, a nice upper level ridge is going to begin to develop. Warmer, drier conditions going to move back into the central United States, with a nice another deep upper level trough affecting parts of the western U.S. This is going to be our next area of energy. We're going to be watching out for our next potential major winter storm system. As you see this area of energy move its way across the Four Corners region, and as that system ejects out over the Rocky Mountain system, over the Rocky Mountains, you can see this new low pressure system begin to develop, bringing some impacts to parts of the Central Plains and even the Midwest. As we take a look at the European 6-hour precipitation and the liquid equivalent, again, you can see that low pressure system begin to develop across parts of the Central Plains, bringing some snowfall to the Midwest and eventually its way across the Mid-Atlantic as that new low pressure system begins to develop. And that storm system is going to ride the northeast, the east coast, becoming this nor'easter type storm system. As you can see, as we continue in through time, behind that low pressure system, you can see those drier, stable conditions affecting much of the central United States with that upper level ridge that's building on in. But with that deep upper level trough across parts of the western U.S. and that new area of energy, you can see some of that snowfall beginning to develop along the Four Corners region. And as that system transitions its way across the Rocky Mountain region, we'll see that new low pressure system begin to develop, as you can see as we move in through time, moving into the 5th of February and even into the 6th. You can see that low pressure system moving its way across parts of the Central Plains into the Midwest and Ohio Valley region. Now, what are our weather models suggesting? Well, taking a look at freezing rain right now, freezing rain accumulations across parts of the upper Midwest and the northern plains. You can see some of those accumulations of a few hundredths of an inch to a little over a tenth of an inch. Freezing rain accumulation. Again, some freezing rain accumulation could be possible with that second low development across parts of the mid-Atlantic. Few hundredths of an inch to a tenth of an inch of freezing rain accumulation possible across that area too. Now, taking a look at our European model for snowfall for the next 72 hours, looking into 1 a.m. on the 2nd of February, you can see that heavy snowfall across parts of the Midwest is going to be isolated, is going to be enhanced across parts of Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio. Now, taking a look at the GFS model, the GFS model is not stretching that enhanced snowfall all the way across parts of Indiana, even into Ohio, as the European model was showing. The UK model is still suggesting similar conditions to that European model with that heavy snowfall from Illinois all the way through Ohio, while the Canadian model is again suggesting almost similar conditions of more heavier snowfall further to the south and more central Indiana compared to the other models that we were seeing. And then taking a look at the Germany icon model, similar conditions to the European and the UK Met, heavy snowfall, northern Illinois, Indiana, stretching across to Ohio. Now, as we take a look at the National Weather Service's blend of models, again, looking similar to kind of that Germany icon and even the European and UK Met, similar conditions, nice swath of heavy snow from northern Illinois, Indiana, through much of Ohio. And as we take a look at the National Weather Service forecast for the next 60 hours, you can again see those, nice purples in there, that area of basically 5 to 8 inches of snowfall, again, stretching across parts of northern Illinois, Indiana, and through parts of Ohio. Now, as we take a look at the European ensemble, again, similar to the National Weather Service, European, UK, and Germany icon. Let's take a look at the European EPS probabilities for snowfall at greater than 6 inches. You can see that being confined to parts of northern Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio, with probabilities, over 75%, approaching 95 and even 99% in that area of northeastern Illinois. Now, taking a closer look at the Midwest, taking a look at our in-house model, again, taking a look at those light purples, you can see those heavy snowfall totals of 5 to 8 inches expected across parts of southern Wisconsin, northern Illinois, Indiana, and even into parts of Ohio. You can see our model is also picking up on the possibilities, maybe some lake enhancement on the backside of this low on Lake Michigan, causing some heavier snowfall of 8 to 12 inches across parts of northeastern Illinois. So we'll have to continue to monitor that. We have left that out right now within our hand-drawn forecast map. As you can see in our hand-drawn forecast map, we did start depicting some of those lake enhancements across parts of Lake Michigan right there, but we did depict that as a 5 to 8 inches plus, just in case we do see some of those isolated, heavier snowfall totals, maybe approaching about 10 inches. Now, we just think those heavy snowfall totals are going to be very isolated along that area for us to draw a big swath of 8 to 12 inches of snow across parts of this area and across parts of northeastern Illinois. Again, with this major winter storm system, we're going to be expecting some impacts with some significant accumulating snowfall across the area. This is going to cause slippery roads and some travel disruptions, along with poor visibility due to some of those intense snow bands with that frontogenesis and that 500 millibar vort max moving on through the region, along with some of this heavy moisture moving up and over that warm front due to that isentropic ascent, causing some snowfall rates of 1 to 2 inches per hour in some of these areas. So it could cause some very poor low visibility in some regions. Now, taking a look at this major winter storm, looking at the mid-Atlantic and the Northeast. Now, this is the weather model solution we showed in yesterday's video, again showing heavy snowfall across parts of Virginia, not as much into parts of Pennsylvania, with this low pressure system kind of staying off the coast. Again, the GFS model is showing the same thing, with a little bit more of that heavy snowfall moving its way into Pennsylvania, while the National Weather's blend of models yesterday was showing the system moving a little bit more further inland, as noted by the heavier snowfall totals across parts of the Northeast and Maine, as the other models was not showing much of that happening. So as we mentioned in yesterday's video, we were talking about this National Weather's blended model solution being our more favored solution between the European and the GFS model, as we believe that this system was going to track further more inland than those two solutions were showing yesterday. And, as we talked about in those models yesterday, as we start getting past 3 even to 5 days and stuff like that, we start seeing discontinuity between the weather models, and we're going to start seeing that continuity start coming back together today as we get closer and closer towards this major winter storm event, or this nor'easter type storm that's going to be affecting parts of the mid-Atlantic and the Northeast. So we still believe this was our better solution as we made our forecast map yesterday, and you're going to start seeing these weather models are going to start trending towards our solution that we were forecasting yesterday. Taking a look at today, now take a look at what the European model was showing. Yesterday was showing that system further off the coast. Now today it's showing that system affecting more of the mid-Atlantic and northeast, with the system more moving its way further on inland. As you can see, now it's got that kind of GFS model solution with some of that, as noted yesterday, with some of that heavier snowfall across parts of Pennsylvania and even still affecting parts of Virginia, and then riding its way along the eastern coast as you see some of those heavy snowfalls across parts of Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, and even into parts of Maine, Connecticut, Rhode Island, as denoted by the GFS model solution. Again, this is a model solution, not a forecast right here. Now, taking a look at the GFS model solution, GFS is still depicting heavy snowfall across parts of Pennsylvania, again showing more snowfall today further inland across parts of New York, Vermont, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, and even parts of Maine. As you take a look at the Germany model, again shifting this system further to the west, more inland this time, affecting this. You can see still heavy snowfall expected across parts of Pennsylvania and Maine with this model solution right here. So we'll have to take that into account when making our snowfall forecast. Now, taking a look at the forecasted accumulated snowfall according to the National Weather blended models, this model now has shifted this a little bit further to the east, while the other models are now shifting further back to the west. So we'll have to continue to monitor this, but we still believe kind of this model solution is more favored among most of the other model solutions that we have moving on through the area. See some of those heavy snowfall totals across northern Virginia, West Virginia, southern Pennsylvania, riding that way along the eastern coast up into Maine. Now, taking a look at our in-house model, now this is only for the next 72 hours. So while those other models were going a little bit farther out, this is what our in-house model is depicting. You can see across parts of, northern Virginia, West Virginia, southern PA, even to Delaware. You can see some of those areas as depicted by our in-house model in that 8 to 12, Harrisburg, Baltimore, Philadelphia, New York, New Haven, kind of within that area of 8 to 12, while places around that like Scranton, Williamsport, Altoona, Harrisburg, Dale City, Dover, Delaware, Manchester, kind of within that area of 5 to 8 inches of snow as depicted by our in-house model for the next 72 hours. But as we take a look at our actual forecast of snowfall accumulated chart as we created by our hand, you can see some of those areas of 8 to 12 we have depicted by parts of Virginia, Maryland, southern Pennsylvania, even parts of West Virginia. Again, we have another isolated area of 8 to 12 across further up in parts of the Northeast, affecting places like Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, and parts of western Maine. Again, you can see that nice big swath of 5 to 8 inches of snow, quite possible across some of these areas, with some of that area as depicted between those 8 to 12s of 5 to 8 inches plus. That could be possible within that area too. We're just not 100% sure whether or not we should connect that 8 to 12. We believe that's a little bit on the extreme side of things right there. But again, accumulating snowfall, freezing rain conditions across the region, along with some slippery roads and poor visibility due to some of those, again, intense snow bands we could see across some of this region. Again, we're going to have lots of moisture moving on in with some of that help with, some of the Atlantic moisture moving on in, wrapping around this low pressure system as that low pressure system moves off the coast just a little bit. Again, we could see some major travel disruptions with this major winter storm system. Now, as we take a look at our severe weather threats for the next couple of days, good news for you guys, we're not expecting anything as in severe weather over the next couple of days. Conditions are still going to be quiet and quite stable across much of the area, but we will be monitoring the potential for another major winter storm system further on out, moving on into the end of the first week of February as another level of energy begins to develop across parts of the California coast, transition its way across the Rocky Mountain region, where we will begin to see another potential low pressure system begin to develop, moving its way across the Central Plains into the upper Midwest, causing some snowfall across parts of the Central Plains and upper Midwest. Again, I would like to thank you guys for checking out today's video. Be sure to hit that like button down below and share this video with your friends and family, and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Be sure to check us out on social media and our website. Again, those links are down below in the description. I am meteorologist James Oloff with Dynamic Weather Agency, signing off for today. You guys have a great day, and be sure to check out our video for tomorrow.